Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the squamous cell carcinoma. See, from it is very clear that there is some squamous means little flat cells, okay? Flat shaped cell carcinoma. And as you know, carcinoma means the tumor of or the malignant tumors of epithelial origin or the mesenchymal origin. See, first discuss about the definition of squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma is a malignant neoplasm exhibiting squamous differentiation as characterized by the formation of keratin. Okay, there is formation of keratin. This is very important. Or the presence of intercellular bridges. Means what I mean to say with the intercellular bridges is intercellular bridges means the two cells which are present and the connection between them. So this definition is very important because given by the Penbock et al. In the year 1997, year is not so important. Now, squamous cell carcinoma is a malignant neoplasm, okay, this is clear, of the epithelial origin, and there is a squamous differentiation which is characterized by the formation of keratin, okay. It is one of the most common neoplasm of the oral cavity. See, this is the neoplasm of oral cavity. It may be asked in the NEET PG examination that this is a neoplasm in the oral cavity, most common, but in the whole body basal cell carcinoma is there, okay. It can occur in any site, but certain sites in the oral cavity are more frequently affected, okay. Means this squamous cell carcinoma can occur in any of the body site, but there are certain sites like buccal mucosa, lip, gingiva, palate, and you can say that tongue. They are the most common site where you can see this neoplasm. Now coming to the epidemiology. Epidemiology, nothing so much is not you have to write it in the exam. You have to just remember certain points which I am telling you. The incidence of squamous cell carcinoma of the oral cavity differ widely in various parts of the world. That ranges from 2 to 10%. This is important. 2 to 10% per 1 lakh of population per year. This can be asked in the MDS exam also, and this is very important. Now, in India or in the Asian countries, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, this is the region which have very high incidence. They can also be found in the France, Central or the Eastern Europe. Okay. Incidence of squamous cell carcinoma is more in the black than the white because white people have less amount of melanin and the ultraviolet rays falling on them cannot be blocked, so there is a little more chance in the white people. Ratio in the male to female approx 3:1 or 2:1. So this still here it is very important. Now majority of the squamous cell carcinoma is associated with the tobacco chewing habit precipitated by the pre-malignant lesion. Okay, pre-malignant lesions, these are associated, mostly the leukoplakia and the oral submucous fibrosis. Now you must know what is pre-malignant lesion. Pre-malignant lesion is a condition, or by definition you can say pre-malignant lesion is a state in which cancer is more likely to occur. Okay, means there is more chance of cancer formation. So this was all about the epidemiology and the introduction of the squamous cell carcinoma. In the next we will discuss about the etiology of the squamous cell carcinoma. So now coming to the etiology, The most common etiology is the tobacco. Tobacco, which is a smokeless tobacco, it is the main cause of the oral cancer, and the alcohol plus tobacco. This is very important question here arise. What is the factor that causes the squamous cell carcinoma by the use of tobacco? See, the end product of tobacco and the irritation caused by the tobacco lead to the excessive growth and proliferation of the cell, and that lead finally to the squamous cell carcinoma. Then high exposure to the ultraviolet rays, diet with low level of vitamin C and vitamin A. Okay, inadequate consumption of vegetable and the fruit can lead to the squamous cell carcinoma. Patient who are immunocompromised, okay, like renal failure, homograft, or HIV infected patient, they are at a higher risk of subsequent cancer development, particularly of the lower lip. Okay. Then condition like xeroderma pigmentosum. In the condition like xeroderma pigmentosum, there is alteration in the DNA that lead to the changes in the epithelial layer, and that finally lead to the cancer development. Then Fanconi's anemia and the Bloom syndrome. So this was all the etiology of the squamous cell carcinoma. Again, the hepatitis virus, human papilloma virus. Human papilloma virus, that is increased risk of oral cancer, so due to the increase in the presence of HPV infection. In this infection, the patient become immunocompromised, and so there is chance of infection there. Then sexual factors are also with cervical cancer for women. The incidence rate of the cancer in India, that is the different city, there are different rate of cancer incidence, like in the Barsies, the highest rate, then the Bangalore, then the Bhopal, Chennai, Delhi and Mumbai. So this is the rate of cancer development in the India. Now the hepatitis virus positive oropharyngeal tumor appear to represent a distinct clinical and histopathological entity. Hepatitis virus with tonsillar area associated, means in the tonsillar area when the cancer is found, it is associated with the hepatitis virus. Then the any trauma and the other factor. How the pathophysiology of the cancer development. Showing the pathophysiology of the cancer development, any allelic imbalance or there is loss of heterozygosity that will lead to the tumor suppressor gene on the third arm of the chromosome 3, 9 and 17, that is there is mutation in the p53 gene that lead to the damage to the control and signaling molecule. According to Willis, you all know that any neoplasm is there is uncontrolled proliferative change in the cell in comparison to the normal cell. So in the when there is loss in the tumor suppressor gene, there is control and coordination is lost and finally lead to the squamous cell carcinoma. Here one very important word, that is Harvey's rash. That Harvey's rash is nothing but a HRAS oncogene. So when there is genetic alteration in the squamous cell carcinoma of the head and neck, the normal mucosa chromosome 9p is lost. So this will become the precursor for the lesion. Once in the precursor for the lesion, there is loss in the 3p and 17p chromosome loss, then it will lead to the dysplasia, means disarrangement of the cell in the abnormal fashion. So in this, there will be mutation in the p53 gene, and once there is mutation, it will become carcinoma in situ. Means carcinoma in situ means any lesion or any tumor arising in a organ or tissue and remain static in that organ or tissue, it is called as carcinoma in situ, and then the lesion will finally lead to the invasion. Means a normal mucosa will lead to the invasion or the malignant tumor only in the case when it is associated with the loss in the chromosome or any genetic alteration is there. Now I was telling you what happens in the case of alcohol? See, when you take the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme oxidizes the ethanol you have taken, and then that ethanol result in the production of free radicals. That free radicals and the DNA hydroxylated base that will cause irritation to the mucosa, and which will lead finally to the squamous cell carcinoma. So this was all the pathophysiology, how the different substances lead to the squamous cell carcinoma. In the next, we will deal with the clinical feature and the types. So this was all the etiology and the pathophysiology. Now we will discuss in the detail about the different types of carcinoma and their clinical feature. See, in every carcinoma, the etiology will be little bit similar. There is only 1 to 2 point difference, and there will be clinical feature that will be different. So coming first to the carcinoma of lip. In the carcinoma of lip, it occurs generally maximum, and that is in the elderly person 25 to 91 years of age. Mean age of occurrence is 62 years. Whereas the carcinoma of the tongue, it appears in 25 to 50% of all intraoral cancer, and the average age is 63 years. So you must be thinking that the mean age or the average age in the carcinoma of lip is 62, in the carcinoma of tongue it is 63. So this is little bit similar approx to the 70 years, 60 to 70 years, all the cancers are in the average age of this age group. So the range is 32 to 87 years of age, but according to some other investigation, young patients are also affected with the carcinoma of the tongue. Then the carcinoma of the floor of mouth. It represents 15% of all the cases of intraoral. The carcinoma of tongue was 25 to 50%, it was 65%, and it is 15% of all intraoral cancer. The mean age of occurrence is 57 years, that is average 67 years is the average. Then the carcinoma of gingiva, it occurs in 10% of all the malignant oral cancer, okay, or sometimes 11%. The mean age is 20 to 70 years, and the average age we can say that is 61 years of the age. The range is 20 to 70 years. Then the carcinoma of buccal mucosa, it is 3% of the total malignant tumor, okay. Out of the total tumor, just the buccal mucosa cancer malignancy is only 3%. The average age is approximately 58 years. So this was all the average age and the percentage of occurrence in the oral cavity. Then come to the sex. We always do as age, sex, size. So the men and the women, we know squamous carcinoma are mainly more predilected in the men. So in all the cases, the men will be more affected. Little bit 2:1 ratio or 3:1 ratio. Then the site. In the site, the name itself defines where the tumor will be present. Like the lip. In the lip, it will be on the lower lip, that is 88%, maximum on the lower lip, because the lower lip is more in the front of ultraviolet rays that is coming. So lower lip is more affected. Then the upper lip, then the labial commissure. Okay, so this is the percentage given here. And then in the tongue, lateral border of the tongue, ventral surface of the tongue, and the dorsum of the tongue are more commonly affected. In the carcinoma of the floor of mouth, different area, that is mandibular area, anterior portion of the mouth is more commonly affected than the posterior portion of the mouth. Early extension into the lingual mucosa of the mandible as well as tongue and the other oral cavity area can be affected. Then in the gingiva, the gingival area, mandibular gingiva can be more affected than the maxillary gingiva, and in the buccal mucosa, chiefly in the buccal self area, this cancer can be present. Now the etiology. In the etiology, we know in the lip, that will be use of tobacco, chiefly the pipe smoking, and 94% cases the tobacco users are mainly associated with the carcinoma of lip. There are many reasons, means when the person take tobacco either in the pipe form, it is in the contact of lip first. Second, when it is as a chewed, tobacco is chewed, it is kept in the anterior portion of the lip or the buccal area, vestibule area, so there is chances of the lip cancer. Then the heat and the trauma, irritation and the combustion end product of the tobacco lead to the lip cancer. This is clear. Then syphilis is associated with the lip cancer, ultraviolet light, poor oral hygiene and the trauma and the chronic trauma, not the simple trauma. It is chronic trauma that is associated with the carcinoma of lip. In the etiology of the tongue, there is syphilis is the more prevalent and the first cause of the tongue cancer carcinoma. Leukoplakia, which is a pre-malignant lesion, it can change into the malignancy. Then chronic irritation to the tongue, arsenic therapy, poor oral hygiene, alcohol and tobacco. Then there will be ill-fitting denture can also lead to the tongue irritation and finally to the cancer in a very long year. Then the broken tooth or the jagged tooth, which is causing chronic trauma or chronic irritation. Syphilitic glossitis is also associated with the carcinoma of tongue. Then the etiology, smoking pipe cigar, heavy smokers and heavy drinkers are always associated with the floor of mouth cancer. And in the gingiva, the etiology is little different, that is poor oral hygiene, calculus formation, collection of microbes, inflammation of gingiva, that is chronic inflammation, then extraction of tooth. In the extraction of tooth, why the doctor or the dentist think that he has extracted the tooth just because the tooth is mobile, but this is not case. The originality is that the tooth was extracted because the tumor was present below the tooth, so the tooth become mobile. Okay. Now what happens? When the tooth is extracted, this tumor get a more space and finally the tumor rapidly grows, and just after the extraction the tumor comes in the oral cavity, and hence it is said that जो कैंसर है वह दांत उखाड़ने की वजह से कैंसर हो गया. आप गांव में सुनते होंगे कि दांत उखाड़ने की वजह से कैंसर हो गया. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. वो कैंसर पहले से ही प्रेजेंट था. दैट कैंसर वाज ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट, बट when the extraction of tooth was done, it started rapid proliferation and hence it is seen in the oral cavity and finally leading to the, even if not treated earlier, then it can lead to the death. Then in the etiology of the carcinoma of buccal mucosa, there is slaked lime which is associated tobacco, betel nut chewing. Slaked lime do what? They khani chuna, they are just a khani chuna. They cause irritation to the buccal mucosa because you keep the khani in the buccal vestibule. Okay. So there is jagged tooth and the cheek biting. This all can lead to the carcinoma of the different areas. Now coming to the clinical features. In the clinical feature, the carcinoma of lip start on the vermilion border of the lip to one side of the midline. This is very important. The carcinoma of lip is starting on the one side of the midline. This is very important. Okay, and thickening and in duration, ulceration and irregularity of the surface is most commonly seen in almost all the cancer. When the lesion is growing as large as possible, it represents like a caterpillar-like stage, and that defect produce a exophytic proliferative growth and large fungative mass. A large mass can be seen to be present. This tumor metastasizes into the regional lymph node, and that lymph node will be the submaxillary or the submental lymph node. This is very important that this tumor arises into the submaxillary or submental lymph node. Write it down. Now the clinical feature of the carcinoma of the tongue. See, carcinoma of the tongue is very much dangerous tumor because there is high amount of blood supply. So this tumor can metastasize to a different part very rapidly. So this tumor in the initial days are very painless and they are asymptomatic, but when secondarily infected they become painful. The lesion is same indurated mass, very slightly raised border, fungative exophytic mass, and the lesion on the tongue produce fixation and induration. This lesion is more commonly seen on the posterior portion of the tongue because of the inaccessibility to the treatment. This lesion, in the advanced case, the patient present with the sore throat and the dysphagia. This in the carcinoma of the tongue, patient present with the dysphagia and the sore throat. Now, in the carcinoma of the oral floor of mouth, we see that is painful carcinoma and they extend into the submaxillary or the sublingual gland. They may even invade into the parotid gland due to the metastasis. Induration is seen and this tumor also present on one side of the midline. Metastasize to the submaxillary group of lymph node and they are contralateral metastasis is seen. Regional lymphadenopathy can also be present and metastasis is higher in this case, in the case of cancer of the oral cavity. Then in the cancer of the buccal mucosa or gingiva, there is mandibular gingiva more commonly affected than the maxillary gingiva. Ulceration can be present, exophytic granular or verrucous type of growth can be present. Then this tumor can invade into the gingival tumor can invade into the maxillary sinus and extend onto the palate into the tonsillar pillar. Okay. Then in the buccal mucosa, this tumor lead to the development in the buccal mucosa and occasionally on the occlusion plane opposite to it. Okay. Near the third molar, this tumor in the buccal mucosa can be affected, and so this tumor can affect the parotid gland also because the parotid duct is near to it. Metastasize to the submaxillary group of lymph node also. So all the tumors except the carcinoma of lip, they metastasize to the generally to the submaxillary group of lymph node, and the treatment for all modalities will be discussed in later series. Carcinoma of maxillary sinus, it is very dangerous condition and it is very important to be discussed. See, carcinoma of maxillary sinus, if grows in very large cases, it is very rare, and the first clinical symptom or the sign that patient present is the antral carcinoma, that there is swelling or bulging over the alveolar ridge or the palate or the mucobuccal fold. There can be loosening or elongation of maxillary molars, and there can be swelling over the face which is inferior lateral to the eye. मतलब चेहरे पे फूला हुआ चेहरा होगा, मैक्सिलरी मोलर लूज हो जाएंगे, म्यूकोबकल फोल्ड में स्वेलिंग होगा और पेशेंट इसी सिम्टम के साथ प्रेजेंट करेगा. अब कॉम्प्लिकेशन क्या हो सकता है कि व्हेन दिस स्वेलिंग इंक्रीजेज इन साइज, देयर कैन बी प्रॉब्लम इन edentulous patient more, that they will not be able to wear the denture properly. Okay, so inability to tolerate the prosthetic appliances, and if the different walls are affected, like medial wall is affected of the maxillary sinus, then there can be nasal obstruction, because on that part nasal septum is present, so nasal obstruction can occur. If the superior wall or the roof is affected, then there can be displacement of the eye. If the lateral wall is affected, then it can lead to the bulge in the cheek. So these are some problem or complication in the carcinoma of maxillary sinus. They can also metastasize, and they metastasize into the submaxillary group of lymph node, but they can also metastasize into the cervical group of lymph node. So now the carcinoma of the palate. The carcinoma of the palate is very important, that 53% cases it can affect the soft palate and 34% cases it can affect the hard palate. They are poorly defined, it can cross the midline, and carcinoma of the palate will lead to the ill-fitting denture and it can also involve the uvula and the nasal cavity or the nasopharynx. They can also metastasize to the submaxillary group of lymph node, and this is very important in all the cases of the disease. So this was all about what we have discussed is the introduction portion and the etiology, their epidemiology and the clinical feature of all the tumors of the lip, buccal mucosa, gingiva, tongue and the complication in the tongue. And now we will discuss the histopathology and the different modalities of the treatment in the case of carcinoma of the squamous cells, means squamous cell carcinoma. Hope in the second part we will discuss about the histopathology and the treatment. Hope this video was very helpful to you, and if so, please do like, share and subscribe to our channel Ocean of Dentistry. For these notes, you can contact me in our Telegram group or WhatsApp group, or you can even message me on my personal email ID. You can also follow us on the Instagram channel with the name Ocean of Dentistry, and you can also like our page on the Facebook, that is Ocean of Dentistry. The notes will be available on all the platform, and hope this all the link for the how you can contact me is given in the description. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon for more updates. Thank you. That's all for today.